Hi, and welcome to the Life Cycle Assessment module. Perhaps some of you already know what Life Cycle Assessment, or LCA, is, but for those of you who don't, this clip will give you a concise overview of LCA and the context around the method. Okay, so let's kick off with a definition which we can explore a bit. Life Cycle Assessment is a quantitative method that allows us to measure the environmental performance of a product or service. The word life cycle in the name refers to the fact that LCA considers the entire life of a product and not just the use phase. So, for those of you fortunate enough to drive a nice environmentally friendly electric car, like me, it's obvious that while you drive your car is not emitting greenhouse gases such as CO2, nor local air pollutants such as nitrogen oxides, sulfur oxides, and particulate matter. Oh. Smells fresh. In other words, while your electric car is being used by you, it is environmentally friendly, or more environmentally friendly than driving a combustion engine car. But what do you know about the greenhouse gases and local air pollutants released in the process of generating energy to charge your car's batteries? The energy could come, at least in part, from a coal power station, which emits all the unwanted greenhouse gases and other air pollutants that also come from combustion engine automobiles. The emissions are simply occurring elsewhere with your electric car. But perhaps you charge your car batteries with 100% renewable energy, such as solar power or wind power. Solar and wind power generation does not emit greenhouse gases, or the other air pollutants I mentioned. But wait a moment, what about the emissions that were created when manufacturing the solar PV panels or the wind turbines? What about the emissions generated during the manufacture of your car's battery? And what are the environmental consequences of the disposal of your car? What about that? Now, of course, I'm actually referring to the real cars which people use to get from A to B. I have a bicycle instead for that purpose. The point is this: the phase in which you're using your car is only one part of the product, or the product's life. The product requires other phases that may not be environmentally friendly, or not as environmentally friendly as you think. And when you start to think about it, there are lots and lots of processes in the background which contribute to the life of your car, from resource extraction, manufacturing of materials, and disposal of materials. So where does LCA come in? Well, LCA can allow us to understand the environmental impact of a product in a holistic sense, accounting for the entire life of the product and all the processes that are required throughout the life of the product. With LCA, we therefore avoid overlooking processes in the life of our product that could otherwise be detrimental to the environment. A wise person once said, "Every product has a shadow." LCA can help us see how dark this shadow is. The other question you may be asking is, well, why is this important? Or why should I care? This brings us to the concept of sustainable development. We want to aim for an acceptable level of welfare for everyone on the planet, but we also need to avoid creating environmental disasters for future generations. Environmental disasters will stop future generations from also having an acceptable level of welfare. At this point, we as humanity are doing exactly the opposite. We are creating problems for future generations by damaging our environment. 4.3 babies are born every second. Who wouldn't want to have lots of cute babies? Once a baby is born and in the world, we want to provide the best for it, so that this new person can enjoy a healthy and fulfilled life. At the same time, we feel that it is important to take care of the elderly. Most people want to grow old and have a pleasant existence into old age for as long as possible. Medical science is advancing all the time, allowing us to cure diseases and extend the duration and quality of our lives. Our life expectancy is increasing. The result is rapid population growth, and generally speaking, the level of welfare for the average person is also improving. Our material needs result in environmental destruction. Since we need resources to produce nappies for all the babies, resources to produce food, resources to produce all the things we need to maintain our level of welfare from childhood until we reach a ripe old age. In turn, we are impacted by how we have altered our environment. The sustainable development concept requires that we think wisely about how we manage the environment so that we can give future generations a fair chance. If you think future generations deserve consideration and you think the natural environment is intrinsically valuable, LCA can help you to make decisions about the product you consume. For example, you can use LCA to understand the environmental impact of the food you eat, the types of materials you use in the clothes that you buy, the transport you use, and the source of energy you use for light, cooking, and heating. Now that we have entered the age of circular economy, LCA can also help us to understand whether circular products are actually better for the environment than non-circular products. It might be the case that a linear economy type product is highly optimized in terms of resource use, and that a circular alternative is not actually better. LCA provides us with a means of validating these claims, that circular economy necessarily performs better environmentally speaking. LCA can also tell us whether the cascade or hierarchy in the famous butterfly diagram is always correct, or if in some cases it makes sense to stay on a lower rung. In this module, we'll look at how you can use LCA in the circular economy context. The main focus of the module will be on building up your inventory of resources used and emissions created. We will look at how an LCA model needs to be adjusted when material cycles are closed and when we use waste as feedstock for new products. As a final thought, try to imagine all the products or resources you consume in your day-to-day activities. Are there some products you would be willing to change for an alternative if it would be better for the environment? Would you do it for the cute babies? See you next time.